Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. It's the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions in the worlds of music, pop culture, TV, social media, news, sports, everything really, depending on the guests, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest is the frontman of a melodic death metal band from Gothenburg, Sweden. Their new record will be coming out called Moment, November 20th. We are with Mikael Stanne of Dark Tranquillity. Mikael, welcome to Popternative, man.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's always exciting. A band like you guys, Dark Tranquillity, who've been around for quite some time and always pump out amazing releases. I mean, it's an exciting time for the fans for new music, but it's also an exciting time for the band too, right?
It is, of course. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for nigh on 30 years now, but it's still kind of nerve-wracking. We've got new stuff coming out. Like there's a new video tomorrow and the album coming out in, 3 weeks almost, and it feels good. I'm really excited. We've been working on something for very long, and of course this year being super weird, at least music is coming out. At least we have something to look forward to, right?
I mean, I think the amount of music that was consumed this year was insane with everything happening.
Yeah, and a lot of things are being written as we speak too, because every musician is staying at home being super frustrated about not having any shows to look forward to, and so all you can do is just like sit home and like come up with new stuff. So it's a good productive and creative thing, regardless of what's else going on.
Absolutely. Now, Sweden, we all know, right? Like a lot of those Scandinavian countries, they're not the biggest countries population-wise.
Oh, no.
Okay, but when I get upset, because we interview a lot of athletes on the show too. We interview a lot of hockey players from Sweden because you guys love hockey in Sweden. You know what I mean? And none of them know, because I always say, I'm always excited. I'm like, man, like some of my favorite bands are from Sweden. You know what I mean? Like Gothenburg, melodic death metal, Dark Tranquillity, In Flames. I'm like, they don't know about them. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like
fucking jocks, man.
And I think it's funny because I remember like I talked to one player and I'm like, yeah, like one of my favorite bands is from Sweden. And you know what he said? He's like, oh, is it ABBA? I'm like, come on, man. No.
Man, yeah. I just what's wrong with
my
people?
point is, you would think that they would at least know of you guys because you guys put like Gothenburg metal is like it's like Mecca music. You know what I mean?
I maybe we haven't reached the sports world in a way that we should. I don't know what is that about.
I know.
Weird,
it's upset because I was telling you before this. Especially 2007, like Fiction. Like I loved like Terminus is one of my favorite songs. That I listen to all the time. Gets you pumped though. Right?
Yeah.
Gets you pumped in the gym and for sports. That's why it's like, get on it. You know what I mean? Put on the Dark Tranquillity.
Makes perfect sense to me.
It does. When people say that Mikael Stanne and Dark Tranquillity are pioneers of a genre of music, how does that make you feel?
Very weird. I have a hard time dealing with it. Of course, we were early on. Of course, things were different then. Death metal was still kind of a new thing, and what we did was to take some of that influence, from the American death metal scene and the German thrash and all that stuff to and also incorporate some of the melodies that we found in speed metal and pop and anything else, like even Scandinavian folk music. Just something that is very melancholy and emotional to us. It add that into the extreme death metal genre, and that was it. So of course, it was different, and people were kind of scared of us at first because we were different, but it turned out to be something that maybe people were missing, and it's very cool. And I love the fact that we've been able to do this for so long, and also people are still coming to us and still discovering our music, and it's still somehow kind of relevant, even though we've been doing this for long.
It's amazing. When was the moment then where it sunk in your career with the band where you were like, we're on to something, like this is good? Like, was it like a tour that you did that you're like, wow, the reception was amazing? Was there something that happened with a song you released, like it got good radio play? Like, what was that kind of moment where you were like, we got something special here?
I think it was. I remember it strongly. Probably '96. We toured our second ever tour, and we were in Rome for the first time in Italy. We'd never been there, and our first tour was kind of like an opening for some other band, and we played Jordan. Then we did like a proper show in Rome, and everybody knew the songs. Everybody sang along to the melodies, and we were like, "What?" Like to us, there was the other side of the world, like super exotic, just being in southern Italy, and I remember then like, wow, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life, because this feeling is unlike anything I've ever experienced. Just like knowing that people get it, something that we just created in my parents' garage, and now it's kind of like on a stage here in one of the coolest cities in the world, and people are digging it. It was amazing, and we were young, and but that made a huge impression on us, and I think for me that was kind of like one of the moments where I felt like, yeah, this is good. Let's keep doing this.
No, amazing. That's great to hear. So the new record's coming out November 20th. You guys have released songs though that are going to be on
two
that
songs.
record.
Yeah, 2 songs, and tomorrow there will be a video for a song called "The Dark Unbroken," so that'll be out by the time people listen to this. And that's a different side of the album, I would say. So yeah, the album spans a lot of it's a lot of anger, frustration, desperation, but also a lot of anxiety and emotion and different feels. So it's all over the place in a very Gothenburg way. And,
no, absolutely. And you know what? Like naturally, Mikael, I mean, bands, grow and evolve. You know what I mean? Year after year, release after release, they grow. You know what I mean? There might be some changes of, certain songs and stuff, but let's be honest, right? Like it's a Dark Tranquillity record.
Should be, right? Yeah, we don't stray too far from the path. We have got 2 new guitar players, but we managed to kind of, find a way for them to kind of accentuate the sound that we've always been about, and to make it even better. But it's still, you're not going to feel lost when you listen to this if you've heard any of our previous stuff, for sure.
Whether it's like melodic death metal or like there's something about metal and hard rock music that I think is just like, it's something everyone needs during tough times, because they put it on and they just headbang and everything, and it's just you see it. Like even when I go see big bands like Metallica and Iron Maiden, you have all these different people in the crowd, older, younger, just like headbanging and just letting it loose. It's a great thing, and you're part of that. How does it feel to be part of that?
It is awesome, and that's exactly how I feel, and that's why I got drawn into the extreme metal in the first place. I was just like regular kid trying to kind of figure out what to do with life, and then all of a sudden like this super extreme metal come into and I discovered it, and all of a sudden like, this is what I want to be a part of, because this makes me feel something that I've been looking for, and also like it makes me bang my head and I can turn it up loud and kind of forget everything else around me, and it becomes like an identity, of course, but also like a way to just let loose, just go to a show, get super sweaty, scream your lungs out. It's awesome. It's a good way to relieve stress and anxiety and all that stuff. And for me, being a band and singer, like that's for me one of the most important things.
One of the things that I love about bands like Dark Tranquillity and In Flames, and it's the reason why I listen to them all the time, is the riffs. There's something about the riffs, you know what I mean? The guitar riffs and like there's just something about that I think stands out with a lot of that metal. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes from.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's the foundation of everything. Then you can do whatever you around that. But when it comes down to it, like you need that super heavy distorted guitar tone, a cool riff, and you're halfway there.
Now there was a time where, especially like 2000, when you're releasing songs like 2007, 2008, 2009, like mid 2000s, where breakdowns on a lot of bands like August Burns Red, and a lot of metalcore, and I love that music and those breakdowns. I love breakdowns, you know what I mean? And there are some moments in some Dark Tranquillity songs where there's a little bit of like breakdowns, like Terminus has that kind of breakdown feel at time. You know what I mean? Why do you think specifically? And you guys are more melodic and everything, but you've played with bands at festivals that do like the metalcore stuff. You know what I mean? Why do you think breakdowns are so popular in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, to me,
I don't know the answer to it. I don't know why. I just love them.
I mean, yeah, we maybe touched on it, but that was kind of unintentional. It's never like a thing. Oh, we need this,
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it kind of reminds me of like dance music, when it's like really like EDM, that kind of stuff, where you just like you need to kind of bring it back so that when you bring it back up again, something happens, that kind of thing. So it's for me that's what it reminds me of. But it is cool and it is effective, and it actually, especially in a live situation where you go like, all right, here we are, this is cool, and then you kind of wait for it to come back again. It's like it just like triggers an emotional response. It's just very primal, and it's very cool.
But I just find like a lot of metal, whether it was
No.
metalcore, because I used to go to Heavy MTL. That was a big music festival I used to go to.
Oh
in
yeah, of
Montreal.
course,
Yeah.
never been, but I want to.
But it had, and you know what? You would think like that Dark Tranquillity would play that. You know what I mean? Like you would think. You know what I mean? You never know. Like you would think, because I'm just like, because bands like we've so many bands have played that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to see. But like, I'm just like, metal is my go-to. I love the pop punk. Like Blink-182 is probably my favorite band of all time, and it's funny because I feel like there's a crossover. Like a lot of metalheads love pop punk. You know what I mean? I remember going to a Blink-182 concert and seeing a bunch of guys, and we were in line and we were talking about bands like Iced Earth
Oh, wow.
at a Blink-182 concert. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That crossover.
Yeah, but hey, good music is good music. I go to that kind of shows as well. Like Bad Religion is one of my favorite bands, even though it's not
So
pop punk,
good.
but still.
But
Yeah.
there's a crossover, eh, with metal
Oh
and
yeah,
punk.
for sure. Yeah,
Why do
yeah,
you
yeah.
think that is?
I mean, it's the simplicity of it, and maybe like, yeah, just the melodic sense, and maybe, and sometimes like it's one thing, yeah, for instance, like Bad Religion, like lyrically, it's
Yeah.
fucking fascinating, and it tells a lot of great stories, and it speaks about relevant subjects, and it makes you feel something, even though it's very light and super fast, and it's 2-minute songs, that kind of stuff, but it challenges you still,
Yeah.
and I love that.
No, yeah. Like I remember seeing Green Day in concert. There was a guy like just
Yeah.
headbang with a Behemoth shirt on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just love that crossover.
It's all good. Like, yeah, and I guess also metal people are very open minded. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, the stereotype may be just like, oh, fucking Slayer, that's
No,
it, and
metal
that's all you
people
listen
are
to.
also
But it's
very
not.
intellectual, man.
Yeah, for sure.
There's like a smart, like there's smart cookies in the metal.
We wouldn't have an
scene.
audience if it wasn't like that.
Yeah, exactly. You're a front man, and you're like, people can call you vocalist, front man. You're a big part of your job, obviously, is to when you're performing is to sing, but you're
Yep.
controlling the crowd, right? You're that's your responsibility. You're in the front. You're controlling the crowd. What methods or techniques have you realized that kind of work for you when you kind of perform? You know what I mean? Do you kind of like? Is there ever like eye contact with fans where you're like, yeah, let's go? Like, are you just in the zone? Or you're just focusing on the music? Like, what's that like from your perspective when you're playing a show?
I love, yeah, eye contact, of course, is great, because that you kind of can feed off of that energy, in a crowd. You see if someone is really into it and they get it, and they understand it, and they know the songs, and you can tell if they are record collectors and they know all your shit, or if they're just there to go nuts, and that's fine. So that communication is key for me. And then of course, like I want to kind of draw in a crowd through to our kind of passion for the music, and not, I mean, it's one thing to just kind of be introvert and just like go nuts because it makes you feel something, and you kind of focus on your delivery and your performance, and sometimes that will draw the crowd in as well. And of course, I don't know, like I don't want to be too much of a cliche and go like, fuck Joe, hands up. But of course,
Let's
I do
go,
that
everybody
too.
jump.
Yeah, but of course I do that too, depending on, you somehow you try to read the room and like what's appropriate for every night and how you feel personally. For me, if I have enough beer in me, I'll do anything.
But when you're
No, but
when you're performing and you're looking at someone and they know all the words, I mean, that must be like the coolest freaking feeling in the world.
Yeah. And then if you're playing like on a Monday night, in a weird town you've never been in, and it's not the most comfortable, then you can just focus on that guy and you can make the best show ever, and it feels fantastic. But you don't have to worry about anyone else, And if you do like you're in the opening act at a festival, something like that, and you realize like the crowd is not really with us, they are just listening, but at least there are those guys there, they get it, and you can totally focus on that and just have a fantastic time anyway.
It is crazy. Does it blow your mind that, you said like the band's been around for a long time, and like the Dark Tranquillity fans are just so loyal and they're there and they're not going anywhere? Does it blow your mind sometimes?
It does. I mean, and that's the most amazing thing. Like some of our friends have been there since the late 90s, and since we started touring, and it's incredible. Like, and it keep coming back, and we have people traveling with us on tour, like for 5, 10, 20 dates, every single tour we do. It's beautiful. It's really amazing, and we made so many great friends just because of people who travel with us and just are super cool and super fans, of course.
Absolutely. Well, Mikael, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
You too, man. Great seeing you, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, new record moment, November 20th, and they could basically get that wherever they listen to music.
Yeah. And if you want to see us
easier to say
live,
now? Like, wherever you listen to music, you can get it.
Yeah. We'll be live streaming a concert where we play all the new songs the day after the album comes out, so 21st of November. So check out darktranquillity.com for all the details about that.
If you want to see that. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, that's as close as we're going to get to anyone this year. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And
very quickly, in an empty room.
Spotify. A lot of bands are getting discovered and getting a lot of airplay on Spotify. I mean, Spotify has just become a monster.
Yes, it really has. Yeah. Started here in Sweden, weirdly enough.
Yes, it's true. I knew that, but I didn't think about that when I was asking the question. Absolutely. And where can people follow the band on Instagram, Twitter, and everything? What about you? Could they follow you, Mikael Stanne, as well?
Yeah, MIKLSTNE, so a little shortened version on Instagram. That's where I usually post the most. It's the most fun for me, and Twitter is the same thing. And yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much. And I have to say, you know what I mean, very quickly. Like, people go, you have to understand that guys like you and bands like Dark Tranquillity are very important to guys like me, because we went through school and we went through tough times in life and everything, and we were just able to kind of shut all that out and press play and listen to bands like Dark Tranquillity. So I do want to say thank you, man. That's fantastic. Thank you, and that makes us want to keep doing this. Absolutely. Means a lot. Thank you so much, and good luck with the new record, man. Thank you very much. We'll do our best. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. The new Dark Tranquillity record will be out November 20th. Until next time, this is Mikael Stanne for Dark Tranquillity and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.